Hello my dear friends, in the last video we have learned how to drive the shape function for a torsion of shaft element. Now the next bit of shaft analysis is a stiffness matrix for torsion of shaft or bar element. We have here stiffness matrix for torsional bar or shaft. To find out the elemental stiffness matrix for a torsion of shaft, consider a prismatic rod of cross-sectional area A which is subjected to a twisting moment T as shown in figure. I am saying here we are considering a prismatic bar element. What is this prismatic bar element? The prismatic shaft or prismatic means what? Prismatic means the cross section is the same at any location across the longitudinal axis of the element. Then we will say such type of element is said to be as a prismatic element. Prismatic element. We got what is mean by a prismatic element? We are considering a uniform cross-sectional shaft element. We are not changing the varying in a cross-section of element. Uniform cross-section and uniform properties we are considering to drive the elemental stiffness matrix. That is one of the assumption where we will consider a prismatic means that is understood. Figure shows prismatic rod subjected to a torsion or twisting moment. When I will apply the torsion to the shaft, that elemental body we have taken here representing along x and y z axis we have here. When I will apply the torque on the shaft, this end assumed as a fixed. When I will apply the torque on the counterclockwise direction, the twist will take place. The axis is shifted from A to B. When the axis is shifted from A to B, there will be a shear strain is induced in a member that is equals to gamma max within the elemental length dx, and the radius of the shaft is equals to r. The diameter of the shaft which is equals to d, and modulus of rigidity g. When we will consider a elemental body within the cross section of r or d, there a axis will get shifted with a d theta angle from C to D with a radius of small r from the origin O. Then to drive that stiffness matrix, we know that shaft element when it is subjected to a torsion T is converting in terms of a Fe model, that is let the prismatic rod is modeled as a 1D bar element having 2 nodes and 1 degrees of freedom at each node. Given shaft element we have converted in terms of a Fe model which has 2 nodes, node number 1 and node number 2. Each node has a single degrees of freedom, theta 1 at node number 1 and theta 2 at node number 2. Torsion has been applied, torque T1 at node number 1, T2 at node number 2. Length of the element L. We have considered the Fe model where T1 and T2 be the end torques at node number 1 and 2. Theta 1 and theta 2 be the end twist or torsional deformation at node number 1 and 2. We know that generally. Now to drive the stiffness matrix, we need to use the generalized equation. We are very well known when we will apply the torque on the element. We have used in a mechanics of material and as well as in a design of machine element number 1 several times the equation for a pure torsion we have derived in a mechanics of material in the 3rd semester, and then the same equation has been utilized from the design data handbook to solve the problems on torsion of shafts. And in a module number 1 some of the simple problems we have solved by utilizing the continuously that pure torque equation. We know that now same torque equation we are considering torque equation T by J is equals to tau by R is equals to G theta by L. What is the equation number 1 where J is a polar moment of inertia, R is a radius of the rod, tau is a shear stress, theta is an angle of twist, G is a modulus of rigidity, L is a length of the rod, T is nothing but a torque. To drive the elemental stiffness matrix, in this generalized equation of a torque, I will take first 2 elements of this relation. T by J is equals to tau by R. Then we have applied a torque on a shaft element. Rearrange this equation in terms of a torque. T is equals to J by R into tau. See here, torque T is equals to J by R into tau. What we have here, applied torque we are well known, right? So that means we got on a left hand side F value. This will be remain same. But on a right hand side, J is a property of the material, R is a radius of the shaft. We are very well known. Now we need to concentrate to find out tau is equals to question mark. When we will find this value, we can easily get the stiffness matrix. Tau is in a shear stress induced in a member. Now we need to find tau is equals to question mark. Also we know that for linear elastic isotropic material, the relationship between a shear stress and shear strain is given by the Hooke's law, where tau is directly proportional to the shear strain. Shear stress is directly proportional to shear strain. When we will remove the proportionality constant, tau is equals to G into gamma, where this is the proportionality constant, G is a modulus of rigidity. That equation we have taken here. The relationship between shear stress and shear strain. Tau divided by gamma, shear stress divided by shear strain. The ratio of a shear strain and shear stress is equals to a modulus of rigidity G, where gamma is in a shear strain. Now we want about a shear stress in equation number 1, what we have. So tau is equals to G into gamma. We need to bring the shear stress in terms of a shear strain, where tau is equals to G into gamma. Call it as equation number 2. Put this equation number 2 in equation number 1. We get torque T is equals to, then equation number 1 becomes torque T is equals to J by R into tau is equals to G into gamma, G into gamma, right? Why we have bring this equation in terms of a shear strain? When I have applied the torque on this shaft element, the maximum shear strain we can find easily by using the shifting axis from one point A to point B with the help of arc. But shear stress, it is quite difficult. So that is the reason we are considering any elemental body. We know very well, based on the characteristics of this diagram, we can easily get the maximum shear stress induced in a shaft element due to the application of a torque. This torque equation, that is the reason we have converted in terms of a shear strain. Then call it as this equation number 3. This equation number 3 is still one unknown parameter is there, shear strain, which is induced in a member. So we need to bring this shear strain in terms of a known parameters of a given problem, right? So that shear strain, to find the shear strain from figure, the relationship between the shear strain gamma and the angle of twist theta can be obtained by considering the torsional deformation of the rod or bar segment shown in figure A. Assume all the radial lines such as OA remains straight line during the twisting or torsional deformation. When I'll consider here a origin O representing from this point to the twisting moment at point A, the twist where will occurs, that in a practical application maybe it is irregular shape. We are considering the all lines are moving from O to A are uniform. Then arc AB becomes, then arc AB from figure is given by gamma max into dx. We have here this arc AB becomes gamma max into dx. This one displacement, this length is dx. Similarly we have this one, that is also d theta into r. We have arc portion. Then gamma max into dx is equals to r d theta. We have that relationship here. The arc AB, this is a shaft radius r from the center of the shaft, and then the axis has been shifted like this. The maximum strain is induced gamma max within the elemental body dx. The angle of twist takes place d theta. R into d theta, which is equals to shear strain maximum into dx. From figure we have arc AB is equals to gamma max into dx is equals to r d theta. This is a longitudinal effect. This one is a radial effect. Longitudinal effect of a torsion is equals to radial effect of the torsion. Now rearrange this equation. Gamma max is equals to r d theta divided by dx. We have to find out a gamma max we have found, but still it is in terms of a elemental body. We want a globalized elemental stiffness matrix, right? So that means a elemental stiffness matrix we need to get, we have here a split of these values in terms of a theta and theta 1, and dx becomes x when it integrate that value. Now similarly, the radial position r from the similar triangular element OAB and OCD we have. From the similar triangle OAB, OCB we have. Here you can see triangle OAB, triangle OCB, this triangle. For this triangle OAB, we have here gamma max which is equals to r into d theta divided by dx, correct? Similarly, gamma max which is equals to, for OCD, this is for OAB triangle, then small r into d theta divided by dx for OCD. For both triangle it remains same. This we have taken a small radial element, right? Either you can take that equation or this equation, both are remain same. Now gamma max which is equals to, we have here this finite element body, that means shear strain gamma max which is equals to r into d theta divided by dx. Here we have r into, what is this, length, dx means length L, d theta, chain in twisting moment, that is equals to theta 2 minus theta 1. Then this one is a theta 2 minus theta 1 based on this FE model. This d theta is equals to theta 2 minus theta 1, where dx is equals to L. Now substitute all those values here, then this maximum shear strain becomes r divided by L, theta 2 minus theta 1, call it as equation number 4. Then we have here where gamma is equals to shear strain, theta is angle of twist, dx means elemental length, L means total length of the element, r or small r radius of the shaft. Now substituting equation number 4 in equation number 3, we get a torque T. We have equation number 3, T is equals to J by R G into gamma. Then that equation number 3 becomes, this gamma value substitute here, T into J by R G, this remains same. The gamma value we have R by L into theta 2 minus theta 1. Substitute all those values, then this R will get cancelled, Jg divided by L, theta 2 minus theta 1 remains same, called as equation number 5. Now we got the generalized equation for a torsion of shaft element. Now we need to apply the boundary condition for a given element. Now we need to consider some characteristics to drive the elemental stiffness matrix for a torsion of shaft element. That assumptions what we are make here, you can check out. At node number 1, torque has been applied in counterclockwise direction. It should be taken as a negative. And torque has been applied at node number 2 in a clockwise direction. It should be a positive. That means we have applied T1 and T2. This T value becomes minus T1 at node number 1 due to the application of a torque in a counterclockwise direction. This T value becomes T2 at node number 2, positive value, due to the application of a torque in clockwise direction. Based on this condition and based on these assumptions from figure, we will apply the boundary condition. Then equation number 5 is yields to, what will happens? You check out. Equation number 5, from figure at node number 1, T becomes minus of T1. That T becomes minus T1, counterclockwise direction of a twisting moment is negative. Then T is equals to minus T1. This as it is we have taken equation number 5. Take this minus on right hand side. What will happen to this equation, you check out. Minus has been taken in this direction. Theta 2 minus theta 1 becomes this value, minus of theta 2 minus theta 1. Then it becomes a minus theta 2 plus theta 1. Just I have rearranged theta 1 minus theta 2. Call it as equation number 6. Similarly, I'll take at node number 2, t is equals to t2. In clockwise direction, it is a positive. When I'll take that as a positive, then equation number 5 we have here, we have derived equation number 5, t2 is equals to gj by L, theta 2 minus theta 1. Call it as equation number 7. There is no sign convention, nothing has been get changed, only t becomes t2. Now we have our two equations here, equation number 6 and 7. Equation number 6 and 7 convert in terms of a matrix form. I have copied this same, nothing changed. T1 is equals to gj by L, theta 1 minus theta 2, equation number 6. Similarly, t2 is equals to gj by L. I have rearranged this equation as per first order and second order, minus theta 1 plus theta 2. Call it as equation number 7 for our conveniency. Now this equation number 6 and 7 in matrix form, t1, t2 on a left hand side we have taken as a torque vector. Gj by L is common, I have taken theta 1 and theta 2, theta 1, theta 2 I have taken here separately as a displacement vector. Then theta 1 coefficient in equation number 1 plus 1, theta 2 coefficient is a minus 1, theta 1 coefficient is a minus 1 in equation number 2 at first position. Theta 2 coefficient is 1. When I'll convert this equation number 6 and 7 in terms of a matrix form, we have this equation in terms of a F is equals to K into Q. This is called as an elemental stiffness matrix for a torsion of shaft element. This one is a displacement vector, this one is a force vector. See here, F is equals to K into Q, or else we'll take as a T is equals to K into theta. Either you can take this or this one. This one is a better one to understand representation. This already we have used, so we have some confusion. To reduce the confusion, you can remember this. Both are correct. For a global displacement vector, either you take down this Q or else theta vector. But in elemental displacement vector, we need to take as a theta 1 and theta 2. This is a elemental displacement vector for a torsion of shaft, and elemental stiffness matrix for a torsion of shaft. Tf or T is equals to load or torque vector, where Q or theta is equals to angle of twist or vector, where we have a K is equals to Gj by L, 1 minus 1 minus 1 1. See what you have realized here in this matrix with respect to the bar. Bar has the same matrix, only the multiple characteristics has been got changed. AE by L becomes GJ by L. This AE by L, if you will put, this matrix is said to be as a bar. If this AE becomes GJ, is said to be as a elemental stiffness matrix for shaft. Carefully you remember it. GJ by L, 1 minus 1 minus 1 1. Elemental stiffness matrix for a shaft. Regularly we use this equation to solve the problem. What is this G? G means modulus of rigidity, Newton per millimeter. Units are remain same, right? There we have used elemental stiffness matrix in a bar element. E, right? Young's modulus we have taken here. Modulus of rigidity, carefully remember it. J means polar moment of inertia. There we have used the area of cross section. Polar moment of inertia in millimeter power 4. This L is length of the rod in millimeter. What is the units of this elemental stiffness matrix for a shaft element? Units you can easily get here. We have a T unit, modulus of rigidity units. What is that modulus of rigidity unit? Newton per millimeter square, right? Into J means polar moment of inertia, millimeter power 4, whole divided by length of the element in millimeter. Power 4, this will goes as a 2 remains, cancel it, just 1 remains. Newton millimeter. Modulus of rigidity, Newton per millimeter square, and polar moment of inertia, we have millimeter power 4, whole divided by length of the element in terms of a millimeter. This will goes remains cube. This millimeter square will goes cube becomes 1 power 1. So then Newton millimeter. In shafts, Newton millimeter for this stiffness matrix units. In a bars we have Newton per millimeter in a bars problem. But here we have Newton millimeter. Units has been changed. Rigidity modulus is multiplied with the polar moment of inertia. Here we have multiplied the area of cross section and divided with the length for bar element. Now we got the idea. Remember this equation carefully. You will use the equation while you solve the problem. In next video, I'll give you how to solve the problem and formula list I'll give.